due to travel, you're going to be home for at least 2 weeks over Christmas.
Yeah, there should be plenty of time, of course, for those to get sorted. So hopefully we don't run into that issue with one of the teams again. It does look like, though, guys, the match is going live. So let us jump into the game and take a look-see here as the Misfits will be taking on Luminosity. Going into our first map, this is going to be Cobblestone in a best-of-3.
CT side start for Misfits. Kit for Sean, he's willing to play the utility man. 2 flashes, no smokes, interestingly enough, on Cobblestone, so they're not going to try and shut down long B, which is typically the place for the 1 smoke on pistol. If I was going to name one.
There was a small technical pause, by the way.
Oh, I think is it a sound issue or?
Not sure. Apparently they said they're good now, so should be on pause in a second. There we go. So we're going to dive into it now, and we'll be good to actually start off the pistol around here. Bit of a false start, but we're good now.
Always good when you stall at the blocks. I used to ski race once. My only analogy I can give you in a similar setup was out of the start hut. I had my pole stuck so far into the snow because you obviously have a mounting point.
Yeah.
That it ripped right out of my hand and off my wrist at the same time. I like literally looked back and was like, well, this one's done. This one's over. Let's move on. Next run.
There you go. You hate to see that. Well, starting off the pistol, it's going to be 2 quick trades, 1 kill going to either team to start it off. Luminosity, though, will halt their momentum temporarily as they sit over here at the edge of the approach into the A-bomb site. They'll fall back afterwards, though, and they'll try to wrap back around over here into the B halls instead, leaving new options for them to go for, but basically just keeping it as an open book right now, not necessarily deciding to go for either site, as they want to run the timer down a little bit more before they make a decision here.
Is going to wait out toward long with Shazam already contesting as well. Nick is going down does mean with Amanek traded, but the T's have a bit of an advantage. They can spread the defense out. Sick, therefore, wants to play passive inside of the A site, bait them in, but he goes aggressive. Rather than allowing them to wrap in and get the shots out from Stables, he wants to find the headshots early. Pickle gets it instead, and Cello wrapping around finds Sean. It's quite a start from Luminosity, I have to say.
Yep, and Shazam's going to end up pretty much in a position where he can do absolutely nothing besides try to post up for a couple of exit frags here. Might try to go in regardless, and at the very least look for a couple of kills to try and clutch this. He spotted the 1 player up on top of the APC, trying to go for the long-range spam. It took him a while, but he does end up with that headshot. So at least 1 kill going his way, but he's fighting against the tide here now. So ultimately, Yell will swing out from the door to take him down, and that'll secure it. Luminosity start off with the lead at 1-0.
Good start. Pistol side, Cobblestone as well. Still, I think, slightly T-sided in that, as we mentioned, there's just so little that the CTs can do. Anything you do does come with a risk. Trying to push up toward long B, you're quite cut off from fast rotations. You also have to spend a lot of utility getting in that position if you boost toward drop. Anyone waiting on the other side gets essentially a free kill if the timing is there. Showtime will wait to see if there will be aggression toward A.
All quiet besides that, though, as they push themselves to the cusp of where they're going to be pushing into here. Misfits, actually some really good nades going out there. Nekkis is going to be forced back. As a result of that, decides not to go for the push right now, or not to take any control across the platform here at all. And we'll sit back, and now Six even going to get aggressive since he still has the smoke to cover off the approach. Set up on top, look for intel later on in the round. Luminosity, in the meantime, are changing up their dynamic a little bit, looking for new options. Yell is going to be able to not specifically hear anything, but if Misfits do start moving loudly, then he's definitely going to be able to get a lot of intel to transfer over to his teammates the longer he stays quiet in here. And this is all just working out so well for Luminosity right now, trying to avoid any sort of conflict at all, and that might end up being exactly the case if they continue on their current path.
Yeah. Going together for trades, but also going slowly not to walk into a stack Yell inside of the drop and be able to farm up some cash if they like to rotate. It is round 2. The CTs, it's one of those rounds where you might just actually sit back and say, concede, forget, let's try and save everything we have, because you're not going to buy in the next round. Might as well get the armor carried over in the pistol so that you can up your chances for a better boost in the next. So we might get a situation where 10 players stay alive. This very, very rarely happens, and I think Henry had a name for this, and I can't remember what it was. It was probably like the Morrissey round or something, knowing him. He's very self-indulgent.
ultimately not much that can be done here. Misfits just post up. So they still have the upgraded pistols and whatnot anyway, so it's not completely out of the question to save this, at least since they're going to have to still fully go on the third round. So they will just sit back and try to force anyone from LG away from this. Shazam, actually with a pretty nice shot, knocked out Yell there, distance just as he tried to approach the door, so got the one pick up, but
no more C this time.
No, indeed.
Question is, did they get far enough forward to get the gun? I don't think they did.
No, I think they were probably scared, thinking there was going to be someone else hiding there. So
yeah, you'd expect it to be babysat. Would have been nice if they could have, but again, they did stay alive strictly so that they could have, I won't say a better chance in this round, but a chance, because obviously you wouldn't buy anything at all otherwise.
I think it's more about doing damage than anything else here. At the very least, just having the potential to get some more kills and make it more costly for Luminosity so they can break them quicker when they first get into the gun round.
So Cello this time will be tasked with watching the doorway as they approach and get closer. Devadivek is inside of danger. They won't elect to stack twice. This time they'll go for a standardized 3-2 split. Unfortunately, the flash bounces off the bottom of Nikas. And Nikas will get up and clear inside of the site. Yell knows now they're out toward long. He'll go hunting. He can afford to do so on the Mac 10.
They've got these two players from Misfits kind of pinched inside of the stairwell right now. Almanac is going to swing down in hopes of trying to locate one or two of them here, but no luck so far in trying to hunt any of them down. Luminosity playing very smart in these rounds to make sure they take as few casualties as possible. And I think they've done that nearly perfectly again here in the third round, knocking out those two players in suicide steps. There's only the B rotators alive. For the most part, they're not going to be too much of a threat here. Oh, Sean gets so close to sneaking off a kill into Yell, but he maintains, keeps himself alive just barely. But now it's just the last two on the other side of the doorway here. Luminosity, safe to say, they should be able to keep a majority, if not all of their players alive here at the end of the third round, which means they get perfect anti-ecos with the exception of that one player dying on round 2.
All standardized at the start, and a good hold this time from Luminosity. They've built up farm as well, and the fact that you keep the CTs alive with pistols and armor, you also therefore grant more money being made on the Luminosity side because you don't force reinvestment. They will keep the one SMG, and the fact that Yell went down, not a big deal because he had a Mac 10. He'll go on to an AK-47 immediately. Drop over the Mac 10, doesn't want to keep it against the armor knowing they're going against guns, so forget bonus potential. Mac 10's not great against armor. But 3-0 and a lot brought out from Shazam, and that's due to the fact that he saved so effectively. Sounds weird to say, but that's exactly how it works, even though they didn't buy much.
Spam coming out from Devo right now, looking to see if he can do some early damage onto the members of LG, but they're going to push in regardless. The problem is they go right into his crosshair. 3 kills for him, and Devo chimes in with a 4th, leaving only Yell alive.
That was actually so smart from Devo Duvek because he sprays into the door with an M4. You know he's sprayed about 10 bullets. He's going to reload. If you go in with 3 or more, there's no way he's getting all 3. Best case, he gets 1 and falls off. What they don't know is Amanix immediately inside for a perfect trade. The French combo absolutely slaughters them as they walk in, and suddenly Yell's the last alive in a 1 versus 5. We're still with 1 minute and 6 on the clock. Bomb down, completely surrounded. The one player not there. Shazam has the information that Yell is indeed out toward Long B. They did call that the possibility was going to drop, but they've now realized otherwise. And Devadivek does go hunting. Okay, fair enough. He goes down, but they know that he's still out toward the tunnels.
Yell again trying to maximize damage here, surviving for as long as he can to get more kills. They have finally somewhat boxed him in. They need to find the ability to actually move in and take him down. Look at that little crawl down there. He's going to manage to get down without having to go all the way around the steps.
6th position. Oh, I was going to say so well, but not aware of exactly that. And now it gets costly because this is Misfits' first gun round. They can't afford to give away any further guns. Yell's going to actually to make an attempt for this. 20 seconds, I highly doubt he gets toward the bomb, but every kill he gets beneficial. And, oh, Amanuk, I'm sorry, son. He does not have time to plant. Round is over, but 3 kills out of Yell is better than they bargained for, I think.
Finally gets out there and dies, so at the very least he'll still get the losing money, as I think he assumed he was going to get pinched eventually there, so it's better that he dies, and with 3 kills still makes it a very expensive round for the Misfits. As on the rebuy, they're pretty much going to be stretched out of cash here, and for Luminosity, well, obviously they're still going to have plenty of money from those anti-ecos to rebuy into this round, so they just have to look for a quick, clean victory, and they're right back where they were a few rounds back here in complete control of the matchup, and Misfits put onto another eco round. It's the best possible situation considering what happened in the round there. Makes the best out of a bad situation, and now becomes very, very palatable for Luminosity should they win this round in a clean fashion. Misfits again going for a very heavy stack towards the B site, however. The majority of their players positioned over there, just assuming Luminosity is going to go for a straightforward hit. But as we can see, that is not necessarily going to be the case. Luminosity quickly moving themselves up the ramp. Dominic's going to have to spot for this, but he's pretty much going to have to hold this alone. There's no way he's going to be able to get support from his teammates. He does hide in an orthodox spot, though, so sneaks off for 1 kill. Unfortunately, that's more so a one-and-done spot, and we do see the quick trade come out from Cello. I like this boost, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. The problem is you've got to get vision from it. The smoke's gone.
Yeah.
Timer on the play. And they'll back off of it. Now the question is, how far do they commit to the retake? 2 kits. Utility have plenty. It's have plenty, but at least a smoke and incendiary to get inside of the site. Good trades. In fact, not even trades, just crossfire sets. This is clean. Yell's the last alive, peeks out. Shazam's already staring down at Stables. And that is solid from Misfit on the retake.
It's good for Misfits there. They end up checking some more of those unorthodox positions, and I think that's what Luminosity tried to play off of, is the fact that they had their players in a lot of really weird spots. If you just look at where the corpses are positioned here, some of them are more normal, but you have guys hiding behind the fence and whatnot, some places you might normally not expect it. But Misfits were very thorough with checking all these positions when they moved the team out of the door, and they're able to quickly spot them, take them down, and it prevented any significant trades from going against them there. So they win the round, and more importantly, they win it with 4 players alive. So that's going to reestablish a good economy situation for them and bring Luminosity to the brink in this next round.
So 3-2, 1, Misfits. Clawing back into it, but as you say, to the brink. Luminosity, again, having so many players staying alive early. Had lots and lots of money built up. They're going to have lots of aggression toward long A. Dual Molotov down, smoke out late. They'll know Eminuk is at least pushed up, or at least someone is pushed up. They won't know it's Eminuk, let's be fair. By putting the smoke in position, he backs off. He doesn't have support to be that far out. The only support he has inside of the site is Devoduvik, who's sitting at the wooden door, so has to be somewhat cognizant of the fact that he can't isolate himself early. He can't afford to go down, even though he does, yes, just have a UMP. He's still a valuable asset, goes without saying. But I've said it anyway, Blue.
Yeah. Luminosity keeping with that slow cross strategy. Still very direct, however, in terms of what it's probably going to lead up to. Dominic just trying to hold this back. A couple pop flashes being thrown out there. Does delay them by a few seconds. Nothing significant, though. The good news is, though, is that Misfits have a whole lot of intel, but they're going to have to rotate a little bit more quickly, and they will move in indeed. Devo just melting 2 players, one after another. Almanek finds an additional pickup 2. Showtime traded 2 back, but unfortunately that won't mean too much at the end of the day here, as it's all left down to 1 player for Luminosity. He tries to sneak through the doorway here, but it won't happen. Sean will catch him before he can get inside. That's Misfits closing out again, now tying it up at 3-all.
Lots of chatter. And 3-all and 3 straight does mean, of course, now the break comes in for Luminosity. Reinvestment, obviously, for Devoduvik having gone down, so his bank account hindered considerably. So to Eminuk, he goes back onto an SMG. Do we have a killless?
What?
Bring up the score. I can't reach the tab. There you go. Yeah, killless sick. He hasn't done much. He's actually died twice as well, so not even really in much of the action. Same too with Shazam. It's interesting because there's so many saves, even though they've lost 3 rounds. A lot of them are time certain finishes. Down goes Yell early. Devoduvik gets the kill.
Nekas is in a similar position too. He's 0-4 down at the bottom of the Luminosity scoreboard. So there's 2 players on either team that's kind of struggling right now. Sean will be able to easily melt down the 1 player trying to push in from drop there, so no issues with that whatsoever. Now we'll see additional players just unfortunately not able to get too much done. Luminosity split themselves up too much in hopes that they can individually get a couple frags here at least. And well, let's see here. Showtime lining up the angle, just can't find the headshot. And ultimately, yeah, Misfits do crush this round with no problem whatsoever, and all 5 players stay alive.
Trying to listen in. I think there's some clever tactics perhaps being... All right, it might be worth watching Shazam this round, based on what I can hear.
I would agree.
Sounds like they've got Smoke Molly set to try and get him into an aggressive position on the AWP. A timeout called. And this, I imagine, from Luminosity, who are down around.
That's correct. Did you call it? But as we said before, Misfits use it themselves here. Try and strategize a little bit better, but we will jump back into it. As you know, the pause is here relatively quick.
30 seconds. Plus the freeze time.
That's
so
true.
50 seconds, I guess, but 30 seconds additionally.
Almanac also, interestingly enough, not rebuying the M4 directly into this round, still working with the UMP here, so being a purpose choice. Makes sense, though, to some degree, since he's going to be playing over here in A long, so he will have that position to play off of. That should work out pretty well, too. Luminosity will play things very slowly on this round.
Smoke dissolves at long on the stairs. Shazam gonna flash out. Smoke goes deep. Molly was there as well. I think this is the play they were talking about, but now how do they utilize it? Because corner checked, but no further regression to find anyone toward the archway. Keep in mind, drop still looking to be a point of contention as both Yell and Cello try and get down. Molotov's off. They'll clear the room itself. Flash as well. Drop over. 2 in or just 1? That's
Wait
the
for the Mollies
question.
to fade, too. Which they'll do now. Normally with that crawl and platform, though, you see those 2 players, you know, go up to get the intel.
Fake. It's trying to fake the drop. Yell, by the way.
So without actually walking up towards the edge of platform, they can't know for sure if there's nothing here or not.
So Sean's done almost the opposite of, I think, what Yell was hoping for with the drop. He wants him to peek from window. He hasn't. Now he's actually done the opposite. He's shot to disguise the drop, and Sean's already backed off knowing that they're in there. That bounce flash will certainly confirm it. He wants to position because he knows they're going to try and lurk out. With Smokes down to door, though, they've actually isolated him so well. Shazam knows that he's off the angle, though. A good read and a good communication. Shazam sets up to find the shots, and now he positions for long. They've lost 2 on the 2-3-2 split, and Shazam has all 3 kills until such time as now that Nekas goes down at the hands of 6. Sean rotates back in. Very good patience from Misfits and great communication. I like the cleverness of Misfits to try and take advantage of drop, but they never bought what they were or never, I guess, sold what they were trying to.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm
Sold
trying to say it.
sell.
Bought what they were buying. That doesn't really work.
So good read from Misfits and good calls coming out from Sean there to detect the drop play. And they pretty quickly dismantle that entire hit. Again, more importantly, very little impact being found against Misfits, so their money is going to continue to soar upwards here. As they only won, a few rounds straight here, but you can already see multiple players going into 10K or more after the bye. Which is getting into very, very dangerous territory for Luminosity, as that's the one thing you don't want to let the CTs do, is stack up that much cash. That just means you have a whole lot more work to do than necessary to come back here. Quick push from Luminosity, though, to get themselves onto the B site. 1-for-1 trade to start for now, though the CTs are maintaining, and they bring it down to just 1, who's now stuck on the platform with no bomb control. It's PKL trying to hold on to his position here, at least get 1 more kill, and in fact, he does get that kill onto Devoduvac, but afterwards, Almanac will knock him out with an HE nade.
Pretty solid start to the game from Misfits on Cobblestone, and we did know that dynamic play was going to benefit, but the money is massive. When your Opper has 14-1 in the bank, you're doing all right. You're gonna have a good time. So 6 rounds in a row for Misfits does yield a maximum loss round bonus, but only 1 plant in all of that, so it's not like they've had the comfort of full buys every single round in all of it. Certainly do this time. 5 smokes, AWP for Yell, and he's posted to the corner on Arch. Shazam overcommits. Nekas in the corner already takes him down.
First kill going, by the way. Finally, the Brazilians here is, for the first time in at least 3 or 4 different rounds, they actually get the opening kill to work off of here. Misfits, in the meanwhile, he's going to look for more aggressive presence. Nekas sees that gun pickup, so he's going to try to go in and chase it. Sick will be blinded on the way back over here as he takes up a new position and unfortunately peeks the sidewalk right into Yell's crosshair. It's an easy kill for Luminosity to get. And due to how cleanly they get into the site, it's just not going to leave any room at all for a Misfits retake. They're going to fall back, call for the save, and Luminosity will finally pick up another round here.
Showtime this time. Gets above the drop, even though they're already down inside of it. He doesn't want to commit, no need. He wants to watch off for rotations at the backside of B. Instead, does spot up Sean Gares. Devoduvac gets the trade, and any kill that Misfits get at this point is massive. In fact, I don't think Luminosity should even be chasing. There's so much money, they're not going to hinder the economy right away. And this is going into a potential reset. Cello forced out by the Molotov. 3 players is the minimum they need to keep alive at this point in time, because this, again, is 6 rounds, now reset. And break point is a real possibility.
Luminosity should be able to
it's slightly avoided, as I said, to keep 3 alive. But, I mean, look at the money with utility buy, right? 3,500 is the best they've gotten. 1,400 is all they get on top of that.
There's no way they're going to justify a rebuy, and even if they do, it's going to be a pretty pitiful one if Misfits do end up winning this round again. Obviously, they'll make adjustments to account for what happened in the last round, but let's see what Luminosity are going to try to do to keep things mixed up and all. It doesn't actually look like they're going to change too much right now. So right now, it's looking like, oh, so
That's not gone well.
Was that? That might have been intentional.
I think it was supposed to bounce on the inside and drop inside
That's what I
the
think
arch.
too, yeah.
I think that's gone too far. There's absolutely no benefit to that smoke. I mean, unless they want to get someone stairs undetected, it doesn't make sense.
I think that's what they want to do, though. I'm just trying to see what it looks like from the stairs angle. Is the problem? I don't know how far back it goes.
We can ask them after. I think that was intended to bounce off the inside of the
Yeah,
arch,
that's what I'm
the
thinking
slanted roof, and land pretty much right where Shazam's looking now. They end up getting the stairwells as a result, but yeah, again, he's not in a position to have seen who crossed, and as soon as he peeks out, same result as last time, the players on the right side, from Yell's perspective, his left, actually get the kill against him. So that's twice in a row that Shazam's gone down early, and that smoke needs to be fixed. And as you see now, they've re-smoked it to do so correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. After I saw that re-smoke there. I have seen smokes in the past that try to cover that off and let you get up to the box a little bit more cleanly, especially if the...
Yeah, but if you cover the whole arch, you can do that anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So makes way more sense to just cover all bases instead of overcomplicating it as well, because that's so situational, and they could read that. Get a guy like Tarek, he's just going to spray into that smoke every time.
Well, Sick will get the trade kill, bringing it down to a 4v4. Showtime, however, catches Sean trying to chase a kill into drop room. Almanac strikes right back afterwards, though. And now the problem for Luminosity, you look at their health pools, all their players very low. They can't afford to take any risks. There's another one getting knocked out by an HE grenade. Yell picking at straws over here, trying to hope he can get the lucky up shot. And there we go. It's not necessarily a lucky up shot, but he does get Sick into the open. Finds a kill there. Cello picks up another one, too. Almanac trades, and more importantly, though, Yell misses the up shot. He's got maybe one more attempt at this to try to take him down. Otherwise, Almanac will peek, attempt to knock him out, tries to look for it, and there you go. Almanac will knock him out, and it's Misfits to take back control.
Decent win. Again, puts the breakpoint potential back on. That's massive. They lose a lot of lives in doing so, and it does whittle away at their economy slowly, but up to 7 rounds already. CT signed on map 1, and Luminosity looking a little bit more flat. A lot of B hits, not a lot of A evaluation at all toward the lower mid. Only round they went there was first gun, and that was when Devodek and Almanac had an incredibly good setup. Keep an eye on that smoke, because someone did say in chat that they thought it was one way. I don't think that's actually how the one way is thrown behind the box, but if they could do it continuously, maybe I'm wrong on that. I would be willing to admit if I were.
We'll keep an eye on it.
That's different. That didn't land in the same spot. That was actually
more forward.
Yeah, so that one might cover it, because that, I think, has less of a gap. But even still, Yell gets forward of it, drops in with a quick strafe, jumps Shazam. Was that his third collateral today? He hit 2 on Nuke earlier. He's hit 1 already now on Cobblestone. That's not bad. 4th overall, by the way, as Moose had 1, and he'll follow it up. Shazam with a 3rd kill in the round.
So nicely done from Shazam. Really showing up here so far today.
Oh, that's insane. He's gotten 6 kills with 3 bullets today.
Not even leading the charge on frags either. It's him, Almanac, and Devoduvek that are doing most of the heavy lifting. I mean, it's a pretty even effort across Misfits' scoreboard right now. Sick obviously still lagging behind a little bit, but it's not necessarily like he's had to do all that much. I think he's been the A player for the most part too, which has been a site that Luminosity really haven't even been playing towards. So it's not even necessarily his fault that he's that low.
That's insane that we've had 4 collaterals in one day. Dear Peter from HLTV, who loves to give me statistics, what is the most amount of collaterals one team or player has achieved in a day? What is the most amount of collaterals a tournament has had in a day? And what are you eating for breakfast? Thank you, Peter. I look forward to hearing from you. Amanek will back off, smoke down, gap in it, but he'll be able to play the gap accordingly. Oh, or will he? Didn't quite spot Cello's feet, as Henry would say, the little booties. But just pistols again for Luminosity. And a chance for Misfits to build back up the bank for essentially the end of the half. In fact, I think they've got, I'll just double check. They've got money. Yeah, they've got lots of money for the end of the half as it is anyway.
Yep. Almanac is able to spot Cello holding in that corner, though, after the smoke fades away. Cello does not fall back in time, primarily due to the Molotov there, and will leave himself trapped in that position. Nothing he can do to resist that. Essentially, is forced to take the fight, which obviously Almanac will win due to the M4 versus pistol advantage. The remaining players from Luminosity will now get prepared to execute. And with that one player's death, they'll still be primed up, ready to go. Even though, without utility, though, Shazam actually won't get the initial kill. The first shot only legs his opponent. PKL moves in. He'll find an opener. Now Shazam's going to have to be a little bit more delicate here. You can see him switching over to the pistol. Knows he's probably going to deal with a close fight, but they manage it anyway. Very well done. Still a quick cleanup, and they only lose that player, Sean, from the opening push there out of Broken Wall.
Yeah, no big deal. 9-4, great half. Again, Misfits looking really solid toward B. Not a lot of pressure on the A side at all. As soon as they go there, smoked off, playing it correctly. Amanuk backs away. Shazam staying pretty much on B the whole time. He's gone aggressive twice and gotten caught for it, but still sitting around the statue position and has good communications from Sean, who naturally should be the player playing swing, so it's nice to see him. And by swing, I mean the third player at B that plays connector and can rotate. And again, he will be doing so this round. Backside window of drop, yell. Finally lining up to try and maybe put some pressure on Amanuk. In fact, more than just yell. He's got a whole arsenal with him.
Able to dodge most of that nade damage too, just by hugging in the corner. It's always a tricky spot with the nades right over here at the entrance to A-Long. So they're able to avoid that. And now they will be primed. Get ready to move in, see if they can get some early kills. Misfits, let's see how well they're set up for this. They have a much higher focus over here on the actual steps area, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful about this push. But now, as they do start to move in, well, it's Cello to get the opening kill. Devo actually gets 2 in response, keeps it even at least down to a 3v3, and that's instantly going to call for rotates to the numbers they spotted. I also don't believe they realized that Amanuk was in here. At least they had an inkling about it, but they weren't sure. So Amanuk sneaks in, gets another 1-for-1 trade, and that'll keep things even again, down to a 2v2. But you'll note Cello is heavily injured, down at 33 HP, but also at the same time, we have PKL infiltrating the B site.
And he's gotten so much space in doing so that the bomb has ample opportunity to rotate around. All he has to do is stay pretty much where he is, cover both angles. Shazam nearly was spotted. Scoping in, I think, from that range. PKL should be able to hear it. Again, does not need to move. He just wants to get information on both positions. One aspect they have to consider at this point in time is crossing the bomb, and he's got a smoke to do so, so they'll deploy it immediately. And that should be a post plant relatively easily achieved. Six going to take the gamble of following that, which the path of the bomb took. Shazam just sits back to give time. E-Box will get him a little bit closer inside of the site as well and give him a shot toward the platform. Cello, though, is certainly ready for Six presence.
Shazam still looking for his right to initiate here. Cello, though, is watching for this flank from Sick. So he's going to have to try and take him down. PKL at the same time very much trained on the angle. Cello, though, misses his first opportunity to kill Sick. Now Sick will look for revenge. PKL, though, did take care of Shazam, so it's all on Sick. Solo fighting right here, and he will also go down very quickly. A good hold from Luminosity and a good recovery after the initial execute has mixed results. They put up a 5th round onto the board as we head into the final round of the first half.
$15 kills for Devaduvek. 10 for Yell leads the way, but no one else is contributing. As you can see, NECA is continuing to still have a massive struggle, I guess you could say. I think is a word for it. Around 15. Okay, out with a flash over. Galil bought up, might as well buy in, and it's NECA is the one that's got has to use it, I suppose to say. Has to suffer the fate of using less weaponry if he can't get kills. And his teammates have the strength. Cello, check the corner, Showtime there with him. Already flashed over the top, so they'll go for a dry peek, straight contact, and trade potential in the fact that 3 can slide out. Amanuk's gone. This time, a lot more passive, in fact. A bit of a miscommunication toward Misfits, which they won't be aware of, but they're considering the fact that drop may already be lost, in fact, which could cause an under-equipped rotation from Connector.
Yeah, they spotted, they heard rather PKL playing up here. Right outside of drops. They know for certain that there's still some kind of presence at B, so that is going to call the rotates and hold them off for a little bit. With Devo sitting in this position, though.
Well, Devo's position is interesting because they've given up long so significantly, but they've brought the op over from Shazam. And the double op setup as well, excuse me, they brought the op over from Amanuk, but the double op setup as well means they can't afford to anchor long positions such as this.
So now we do have Luminosity still slowly crawling into a position to execute. They're not going to leave themselves a whole lot of time to get into the site. There's going to have to be a big explosion, which takes quick control. The timing on this might work out if they got Amanuk there. No. Devo walks right in and yells ready for that. He's immediately going to be able to take him down. Now they need to get ready for this execute and quickly call for these rotates. They don't even realize where it's coming from just yet. The molly goes into the crawl space. That's going to force one of the CTs back. Sean holds it. Cannons, though, gets a double kill. And now the flash is actually going to blind some of these T. Shazam moves in, chimes in with 2 or 1 kill of his own. Amanuk, the other opper, picks up the additional kill. And now it all falls to Cello, who will just barely get this bomb onto the ground, and they'll know exactly where he's at here. Just a matter of playing this smart, and they should be able to isolate him. Cello will do his best, though, to clutch this out, and he lines up the first kill. Shazam peeks him. That's going to end up being a mistake, as now Cello can go out, get the final kill, and clutch it for Luminosity to give them a 6 at the end of the half.
Super smart play, and Misfits split themselves up way too much. Devonek, first off, flashed in bottom middle because they didn't have the information they were trying to get it. The fact that they flashed super high off the back of the site and then they split gives Cello 2 one-on-ones. They needed to play that immediate trade effect, and they had kits. They had time to do so. There was no need to rush it. Tons of opportunity to check corners together. Well played from Cello. It's only his 9th kill in the half, believe it or not, but still it gives them a 9-6 scoreline. Extremely workable going over to CT side, especially if Lumi gets the pistol. I do love that these cameras are always so well aimed. Every player sits so differently. It's not really the fault of production. It's kind of impossible.
Yeah. We should basically just tell the players to adjust it every time I
Yeah, I was thinking that, right?
Yeah,
just aim it. But then you're going to get the player that's like, I don't want this on me in the first place, so I'm not going to aim it. So why would I do that?
Just going to turn it all the way up.
I'm being told they actually do adjust it every match. We've got one player that has left the server. It's Sean Gers that has done so he'll be back in momentarily.
So they should be able to get him reconnected. It was just a crash of the client, so they'll have him rejoin pretty quickly, and then we'll resume the match. Things will continue. It ends up actually being a relatively close half, even though Misfits had some pretty strong CT side setups, and were able to dominate through a large portion of that half, but they seem to slip towards the end of it. Let Luminosity pick up a few more rounds, and we end up at the scoreline we're at now, 9-6. Luminosity grabbing 6 rounds on the T side, and now they will jump on to defense here. Seeing if they can keep that form, keep that momentum rolling, especially after these few clutches. Or if Misfits are going to bring a more innovative T side to the table, try and shut this match down quickly and take control of map number 1.
So everyone's in. Admins will release us. I think Shazam actually has to call manual. Taking their time with it, but I can confirm the buy is as such. Nekaz has not bought anything yet, but everyone else will have smokes brought out. Shazam, armor, and I take that back. Sorry, not smokes. It's 2 flashes and a Molotov for Sean Gers, so he'll have something to work with. Just listen to the admins discuss the issue before they finally release us, and we'll get underway. Over toward B. Misfits will lead off the charge. Shazam, following in the footsteps of a wise leader. Neck has flashed off early as Emanek will make first contact. Now we'll get his back turned as well. Shazam breaks in, one gets toward the tree. In fact, they're going to be down the lane as Shazam fakes it back and cuts over. Devo Duvek gets the shot on Yell instead. Cello will be angry though because he gets an opening kill that will allow for a retake. Armor on both remaining CT players, no kits. So bomb going down early enough is substantial. And Sean, he's not even really peeking the corner. He's just going for pre-fire to hold them off. Shazam has the angle at Cubby, and they walk directly past him. Well played, well baited, and a pistol, very importantly, for Misfits.
So they take control of that, and we should see the immediate force buy come out from Luminosity to look for an aggressive response. And so unfortunately, the scoreline will become very divisive with Misfits winning that pistol there. Assuming they carry it through, we could end up all the way at 12-6, which is probably going to be relatively unacceptable for Luminosity. So it's no surprise at all that we see the straight-up force buy as they're going to try to bargain their way back into this match. At least make things a little bit chaotic so they can trade out the scoreline a little bit before one team takes control.
So Mac 10 buy for both Sean Gers and Emanek. Got a little for Devo Duvek, which gives them a little more space and range. Watch that flash, however, because Misfits all corralled into the left corner, thankfully. Not a lot of utility in terms of damage numbers on the Luminosity side. Lots of smokes to slow things down, but no nades, no Molotovs. They'll be able to get away and get cleanly back to the tunnel. Sean's already committed to the drop. Smokes off his right side behind the window. That'll be redressed so he can put more attention toward E-Box, in which Pickle has closed the gap and become much more of a threat outside of with his Deagle. Further flash. Try to buy space. 4 players in B, though. This is where you've almost put yourself in a corner if you're Misfits, because you commit so early. You showed your hand, you were spotted, and you're going into a stack. Good loud call to make it clear as Sick turns and takes down Yell on the stairs. And so far, they've not lost anyone, even though Sick's left with 2 HP.
Yep, he's going to try to sneak off a kill by hiding in rock, but it's not going to happen. Shazam shuts it down. So a little bit chaotic there as they were forced into the corner at the edge of the platform approach, but they still managed to hold things together. Don't end up with any players dying there, and they'll take the lead here with the dominant stance being established at 11-6. Another tech pause. I think we had a player disconnect again, but once more, should be a quick fix. And then we will resume the match. Really a full eco round from Luminosity anyway, so not expecting anything amazing. Should be just a pretty straightforward one for Misfits, but we'll hold off discussing any intensive matters here since players might have headsets off.
Hopefully we'll get it solved and resolved shortly. This time I think it's Devo Duvek.
He's back now.
That crashed, but they'll sort it quick enough. 11 rounds. Significant and not losing any bodies in the previous. They'll hold on to the 2 MAC-10s, which can go aggressive. There's not a lot of options for the CTs, as we mentioned, in this round 3. Half 2, round 18, I suppose, if you want to be super technical. So they're going to reset round, not replay, not to be misled. I'm just getting the information in my ear. Because unfortunately some equipment was lost when he rejoined into the server. So immediately they'll reset, which means we'll stay at 11-6. Yeah. Same scoreline, same situation, just to get the money restored.
Actually, I don't
to
think
what it was.
They're not going to have to reset it. I think they figured it out.
Calling it ready? They didn't do anything? Oh, are you sure it's fine? Okay, so they're just trying to do the math, but I think they're saying it's ready, so they're lost if they've lost anything. I don't see anything actually missing in the money.
I think it's fine. So
3250, Amanek bought down.
Who disconnected? It was Amanek, right? They disconnected?
I thought it was Devo Duvek, but I could be wrong on that.
I don't remember who disconnected.
Because if it's Amanek, that is a lot of rebuying, to be fair. But anyway, we'll get back into it immediately. Again, nothing on the CT side except for a Zeus. Can we watch Yellow, please? I think Yellows might have a cheeky angle that he wants to play.
Question is
he's behind the wood. He's actually behind the wooden door at mid, so no one's going that way. But he is going all in on this Zeus.
We'll just rush down the halls here in a second if we see Misfits fall through on the next keep. They're not actually going for it just yet. Probably still going to see it here in a second, but Miguel's going to spot the jump over there through Broken. Almanac will chase him down anyway. They dink him, they bring him down low, but he still manages to execute them, and now the full rotate is going to be seen from Luminosity. They'll attempt to get their players in here, but they've already been boxed out, and there's not a whole lot they're going to be able to do with just USPs in hand, so at most they can make it a little bit difficult for them to exit, but the round will still go to Misfits, and we will end up at that 12-6 scoreline. Just 4 rounds needed here, including the gun round, of course, for Misfits to take control of map number 1 and give themselves an advantage in the series.
Cello trying to find any gap salvation he can above the smoke. Again, 5 players staying alive for Misfits. Perfect opportunity to go for the bonus because they've not had any reinvestment required. And going for the bonus, although MAC-10s, I'm going to just say the word suck against armor, you might as well go all in on the call for it. Sean could be all about closing it out, but I think with execution and smokes down rather than trying to play picks, you go for a strat play, get very heavy tactics, you might be able to do some damage. Nekaz is trying to cleverly sneak behind them, and Sick was ready. Yellow still, got the kill with the pistol, but the Zeus, it was so close.
He freaked out. He thought he needed the pistol. I think he thought he was going to sneak behind him through the shed. So he whipped up the pistol instead. Unfortunate, but obviously not a huge deal. 12-6, like we said before, becomes the scoreline, and now finally we can see a full investment from Luminosity. They buy down completely, and obviously it's your very typical 4th round buy.
It's a gun round now, so he's given up on it. I bet he's going to shoot it and spawn and just waste it. Oh, that's too bad, man. Come on, you got to stick to it.
There's that like 1 in a million situation where it's useful in a gun round. So.
9 certainly made use of it at the DreamHack Stockholm qualifiers for Cluj and Boca back when it was super overpowered and imbalanced based on the investment. I think it was like $100 and you would just wreck everyone. The range was slightly higher. You just get a kill for a $100 investment and pick up a gun. nothing, got like 2 kills on the ramp on this exact map.
Don't you get a lot more money for a kill with those used too? Or?
You used to get more than you do now. To be honest, I can't remember what you get now.
Yeah,
It's been so long since I've used it, and it's
exactly
not that viable, let's be honest. But then it was. Then it was like $100 plus $300 reward for a kill. So you're getting 3-to-1 on your return on investment. Plus it had bigger range, so you could hold different corners with it. And if the guy died close enough to you, you got a gun dropped essentially at your feet. So Cloud9 ran, I think, CT side, they ran 2 Zeus's, one at A long and one pretty much where Showtime is, I think a little bit deeper, closer to the wall. And nothing got a kill on the ramp with it, picked up an AK and sprayed down 2 more. And it was like, all right, yeah, $100 just dictates the entire round.
Only slightly, of course. But Misfits will now get prepared to start some aggression here. They move out. They actually do some decent damage, too, to one of the players on Luminosity. The problem is that damage also gets traded back onto them. And they'll be forced away from this. Devo, though, hits the first entry, and he hits it just in time. They also deny Nekez from flanking behind them. However, the other players are going to take quite a bit of damage. In fact, it's a miracle that Amanek is here to recover the bombs. Otherwise, that would have been drastic for Misfits. Thankfully, though, he is there. He is able to recover an explosive device and will now take it over here towards the B bomb site, leaving only 2 players left in this fight for Luminosity. One of them going to try to sneak up on the Misfits roster here. He attempts to creep on them through him sidewalk here, but Shazam right out of the corner of his eye does spot him, instantly knocks him out, and Cello at only 22 HP. I think it's safe to say that this clutch probably will not happen.
That would have been traded either way because of the setup that Misfits had, but it's a big kill because it keeps 3 players alive again, and Cello's only got 12 HP. 1 versus 2 on a flank potential, maybe you get something in it, but now with the nade out, doesn't quite catch Cello. They'll know that he's heading that direction. Or Shazam was at least considering it. The fact that the nade didn't get him, I think maybe he thought otherwise, but they made the call. Cello's going to try and get away. He may salvage an AK-47 as a result. But another round of Misfits, and at the end of the day, with 13 rounds now to their name, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and Cello saving that AK is not necessarily a huge deal too, since he was already equipped with an M4. So just a semantic trade-off for him. Gets the better rifle, obviously, but still, it is going to put Misfits still into a very controlled situation. Their scoreline will continue to soar forward. Taking a few more losses that time, so the money's not necessarily going to get completely out of control just yet, but for those that did survive, they'll be in a very secure position. And on an eco from Luminosity, they will have another chance to wipe the board clean of these CTs and continue to stack up money, as little as they would need anyway, to close out this match, as they're getting very, very close to that 16th scoreline.
Yale goes aggressive. 3, map 1. Misfits trying to take the lead early. So the series bows out of the event. Luminosity would love to make it through naturally. Sean, but a bit of aggression toward the long B position will fall off as Devo Duvek is watching to see if there'll be any CT-sided aggression over toward A instead. The 1 AK is what they need to sort in all of this. And you have an option. Cobblestone's such a vast map, it's really hard for, okay, never mind, 1 gun to make a massive difference. I was going to say, 1 choke point you can hold quite clearly and cleverly with it is drop. But a lot of times you play at the back line so it can be saved and carried over further. That kill is significant. Problem is that the gun never dropped down, but they rotate over. Sick takes down Nekez, and immediately Cello gets a trade back, and the AK, it's taken down to the ground immediately by Devo Duvek. They will have no such chances to hold it. And again, if that second gun had flung forward and fallen down the drop, 2 guns on swing rotations, could catch them in transition. Good shot, PKL, but I can't imagine the round goes any further because they know exactly where he is. I say that.
Got shot very low there.
Exactly, massive damage onto Sean, but he still manages to succeed. 14 rounds now for Misfits.
So, a little bit more messy than I think they were expecting, but like I said before, with them in the position that they're at, they're probably not too worried about those deaths right now. 1 more gunner, and they basically have the match secured here. We can see Luminosity getting what could end up being one of their last big buy-ups, and it is indeed a big buy-up here. They've invested very, very heavily into this round. But it will really only give them 1 or 2 more chances to try and stop Misfits. As otherwise, they're taking a dominant stance, especially in this second half, to control map number 1 of the series. And potentially, if they can win maps number 2 or 3, push them onwards into the playoff bracket. Quick execute this time from the Misfits, too. They're not going to waste any time getting themselves out into the site. Devo Duvek in a great position. Follows through with the spam. Unfortunately, overstays his welcome, wrapping around onto the platform here. Sean, as well, just goes out into the open and does not find his target quickly enough, so he'll fall, leaving only 1 man left alive here for the Misfits. It's going to be Shazam attempting to clutch in a 1v3.
Can't hit shot through rock either, so he's got to get toward the bomb now without much utility to work with. Nade's already deployed. The single smoke down, you'd think, okay, fair enough. I was going to say you'd think that he'd try and transition to get bomb with 1 angle to cover and maybe not necessarily stick to the plant, but Finding the shot on PKL gives him space. Unfortunately, Showtime takes advantage of knowing exactly where he was and advances. Good find. Counter op. 14-7. Luminosity at least gets something rolling, but not enough to break the economy of the T side. No bomb plant. Somewhat beneficial in the long term.
Yeah, Misfits should still have another full investment going before they're put into a broken situation here, so we can indeed see that. Interestingly enough, we had this kind of buy before from Almanac on the CT side too. He bought an ump in one round, and it looks like he's done it again, this time with a Mac 10, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm curious to see how they're going to utilize it. Or they'll just kind of put him in the front of the push, and they'll try to go for another very quick execute, or there's something else in mind behind trying to buy this Mac 10 instead of a rifle here. Definitely had the money to go for a full-on rifle. Anyway, they're going to move back, and he is in the front. It's Devaduvek leading it, however. He's got his blind, but unfortunately won't be able to get the kills. And now Almanac trades it out. Molly in hand. Nice little toss away there, too. I don't think it goes exactly where he wants it to. Almanac's got to start impacting here. The spam going in, gets the kill. Now he's been revealed, so he needs to get away to a safe position. We'll be able to get the reload off, and ooh, PKL gets caught jumping. He's going to lose a lot of HP. Sick as well. Great aim there. Is going to be able to find Neck is trying to jump up onto the sidewalk there. Evens the fight back up, but it's still very tense. Neither team is going to be in a safe position just yet. Misfits aren't in the greatest of positions here, so Luminosity can still move back in a retake. Almanac, as we can see, trying to take all the attention towards him as the fight continues, and Sean as well, very low HP, has to support his teammate now, though. Moves in, gets the trade at least, brings it down to a 2v2. And Sick, where is he at? He's still hiding back over here on the steps.
It's fine. His position's fine. He can play this off of Sean. Going down early. Sick still has 100 HP to play, but he couldn't find a trade fast enough. They know where he is. Double peek, finds PKL, plays the time. Showtime decides to go aggressive again, and with a kit, lots of opportunity to get the defuse. Pull this to an 8th round. Now money starts to be a factor for Misfits. Grabs the AWP as well. They'll strengthen the CT side with it. There's enough money just to force out a decent buy around it, but they're still going to be light on kits. 2 carried overs beneficial. Rather, 1 carried over and then 1 bought, but still, it's the smokes that are the more important aspect, as we mentioned, onto Cobblestone. Devaduvek, 22 kills. Significantly further ahead. The French, in fact, seemingly decent on Cobblestone. And they've actually gone for a save sooner than I would have thought on the Misfits side. I expected more of a force to be aggressive, considering that they still have a substantial lead and they don't have to worry too much about saving yet, but they're going to play the long game, play tactical game, I suppose you could say, as Nekez. A little bit wary of the smoke.
Misfits doing a very similar lineup to what we'd seen in previous rounds here, but obviously the pace which they're going to take it has to be much, much slower since they're very, very limited in terms of their gunpowder. We can specifically see Devaduvek just holding back. Probably going to run the timer down to about 50 seconds or so before we start to see any movement from them onto the site, simply because they want to make sure Luminosity don't attempt to do anything hyper-aggressive here to try and shut them down early. Luminosity, though, very much having the same logic behind their thought. They also will hold back here and wait for Misfits to make the first move, as we're now going to see.
Sick goes to the window with Devaduvek boosted. They're trying to find an angle for exactly that shot to get a headshot angle on PKL. They don't consider Cello, however, who rotates around to quickly find 3. Devaduvek with the trade. The only gun. He's not gone back to get the bomb. In fact, he's trying to be rather unorthodox and give it up and go to catch anyone trying to pincer him in. Instead, it's Showtime that's watching Romeo from Hotspot. Devaduvek that wants to get in behind him. They'll deal with the bomb later. It's going to be tough to get back in that position if I'm completely honest, but okay, I take back. Nothing's easy. Take nothing for granted, Blue.
Perfect timing on the check there from, oh, wow, and even goes up and finds Shazam, too. Nicely done from Showtime, making sure they take minimal casualties in that round. More importantly, keeping it clean for them so that they can get some kind of a build-up here. They still have a long run to go on here. There's still 5 rounds behind the Misfits, and obviously 7 more straight will be needed for them to try and close out in regulation. Can't lose a single one along the way here, so rounds like that are exactly what the Brazilian squad needs if they want to try to close this out in 16-14 fashion.
16 for Cello leads the way, oddly enough. Having played 24 rounds, 16 kills is the top total in which Luminosity has achieved. There's a lot of saves. Remember, that's not how you boost. Basic CS Showtime.
Misfits back onto a buy now, however, full strength restored for them, somewhat anyway. We do have 2 Galils into the buy so that they can still get full utility purchased up here. Bit of an exchange at the start over here on the platform approach. Yell will be forced back as a result of that. But now Misfits sit somewhat hesitant here, as they are a little bit worried that Luminosity might have tried to press in and take them down. So we won't see either team move again within the first minute or so of the round. Is going to go without too much action happening, besides bits of utility being exchanged across the board. Showtime, though, will strike first. Finds Sick, I believe, trying to creep up ramp there. So they'll take him down. Showtime, unfortunately, whiffing that molly is not going to do anything. That money's down the toilet, but it's going to be a little bit irrelevant anyways. Misfits are definitely not going to attempt it.
Shaw's going to try and hold the angle and let them advance. Okay, so boost instead. I thought Amanek was going to try and slip up and get close to put pressure on, but a deep smoke now thrown by CTs with Nekez to cover. They'll go more passive. They can afford to do so because of this. Showtime already on a flank with a man advantage. Hold the dams, boys. Yeah, keep the floodgates closed.
Misfits need to hit some very quick entries here, otherwise this is going to go badly for them. Good
Flash.
First kill, however, yeah, immediately the trades roll in because they know exactly what's happening. The flank shuts down the remaining platform players, and only one is alive after that, which they'll easily handle. Another quick one from Luminosity, as that's starting to get a little bit dangerous now at 14-10.
Double up. Held over and continuing on. It's still not like their money's amazing, though, considering the fact that they found 4 rounds in a row. Misfits has found just enough to keep them honest. In fact, that last round, the only one in which they kept a majority of players alive. So 5 in a row and then responded. We are within double digits, which means now is when you have to make extremely smart and conscious decisions with the economy on the side that's in the lead. CTs, it's a little bit tougher. We mentioned that last game, but with the terrorist side, you can be a little more audacious with buying if you get bomb plants. So far, that hasn't been happening in a regular fashion. 2 of the 5, or rather, excuse me, 2 of the 4 in which they won on the Luminosity side, they did come to the fuses, but those were early. The last 2 have not. Trying to flood in with flashes down. Devaduve does at least make it to the tree, but Nekez was well aware, backed off. Held the angle, and I think this round's writing on the wall with the rotations already in. 3 in the site. A bomb plant is going to be, well, tough. Good find from Amanek, but with Yell still in KFC, he can watch the reverse angle.
Yep, and now Sean left as the last man standing here, going to be trying to hold from sidewalk position, but it's not long before he's pinched on by Cello and Drop, and Luminosity have another round up onto the board here. Again, a few losses here is going to keep the money under control, but the money's starting to become less and less relevant as we get closer towards the end of it here, and Luminosity just built up enough for 1 full rebound each player, which is really all they need in the event they do lose that 1 singular round. Just have to be able to buy in after that point. Misfits, though, after that save, now back in it, again with full investment here. 4 AKs and the op on Shazam, so they're back to full strength again.
Goes toward B early. No aggressive smoke either, so he could make straight contact. Amanek's already crossed over, so if Nekez overcommits, takes 1 too far steps. Gets caught out wide, missed the Molotov. It actually glitched off the edge of the box in an interesting fashion, but he could have easily been taken down by Amanek. Instead, he survives 10 HP. He'll fall back to the site. Devaduve is not putting a ton of pressure toward Drop, but they are at least spreading out off of the early exchange, and this will start to consider the A side of the map, which we've not seen a presence, I have to say, from either side, to be fair. Luminosity not putting much there at all on their T-sided approach, and Misfits have not had the same fortune of trying to get long and looking for executions. They seem so simple once you get long corner, but not even going that far on most occasions. Cello, cubby corner, flash out. Showtime finds the first. They get preoccupied with him. That baits Cello back in. Shazam wants to hold the angle, but as the smoke blooms, Cello's going to move forward. Flashed off does still somehow survive as Shazam gets a shot back on PKL. Cello is in the position in which he needs to be, swinging out wide, looking for Amanek, trying to follow the tracers. These two having a very awkward exchange, I have to say, and eventually knives are drawn, and Showtime's had enough.
So there we go. Showtime eventually connects onto the op shot to end out the round. And Luminosity once again come out on top. Misfits, every single execute we've seen in the last, what is this now, like 6 rounds actually. Every single execute we've seen in the last like 6 rounds or so, it's fallen flat. And even before that, things were a little bit closer off, even in those first couple of gun rounds. We were seeing signs of Luminosity starting to get close to being able to counter this out. And ever since they started winning, they've been winning in very, very dominant fashion. So now there's finally going to be another pause called by the Misfits, as they need to seriously rethink their strategy. Whatever they're doing at the moment is just not working.
Yeah, it's falling quite rapidly. A 9-6 halftime that Misfits, in fact, won the pistol on and took this, I believe, to 14-6. It's now 6 in a row for Luminosity. They've pulled it back to 2 rounds between them and a double up set up again for both Showtime and Yell. And Cello is continuing to be, he and Showtime both, but mostly Cello, I think, in the last few rounds, continuing to be menacing on this CT side. impenetrable, and this time then when they do go toward A, they get shut down. They kind of tripped over themselves in the doorway. Cello's position was just far enough forward that as soon as they put attention toward the AWP at the top of the ramp, he was able to get a perfect peek. PKL bypassing the bottom of drop early, but they're going to go. Floodgates open. Just pistols. Seemingly work inside of tight choke points as Sick gets a shot back to PKL and allows Devo Duvek to get further forward. Cut off rotations inside P250. It almost fired fast enough to look as though it were a CZ75. He's able to pick up an AK. Nekez got one back on Eminek, but Devo Duvek, is going to get to the safe plant behind the hut. Everybody left side sight, meaning got stables to work with. Sick has an AWP on the platform, and Nekez is very limited, and Yell is going to play off of him with the AWP on a retake. Kits for both. Smokes for either, and Nekez to lead the way. They have no clue as to where the post plant's gone. And Devo Duvek might get red, but Sick can trade off it. In fact, they don't even get that far. Sick stays tight in position, and Yell, I don't think he's got any chance with an AWP.
Might back up now, if he's given the opportunity to. Nope, he ends up calling out. Shazam spotted it though, so they've called this now, and now he's definitely going to fall back inside, try to escape, get out of here, at least try to save the op so they can have that firepower going into the next round, but will be forced into a battle which he knows he cannot win. Devo Duvek takes him down. Now Misfits get themselves a free double op setup, and they'll finally go up to map point.
Well, exactly that. They secure overtime, and I think pressure was starting to mount. They're going to go double op T side in Cobblestone. Best of luck. We'll see how it works. I'll give credit if they find the opening picks fast enough, but it's the pace that time of Misfits. They get down, and rather than even dwelling on the fact that they, again, tripped over themselves previously at the bottom of middle on round 27, or excuse me, round 26, they just rush out. Devo Duvek bypasses everyone. Even before they had the trade, he was already out the window, running toward connector with a set plan and knowing exactly what he was hoping to achieve. Obviously, the kill advance dictates everything, because then he gets the AK, but it was the fact that he had the presence of mind to just continue pushing that far forward. Nekez again forced off the angle on... Okay, he's not the greatest at nades, I'll give him that. But he's again forced off the angle at long. They have to play passive from KFC, and that means early rotation. And Sick this time gets Cello pushing. They catch out the rotation, and he plays Rapunzel Power.
I was about to say that. Where he's playing from is probably the most surprising thing, is there's no way you're going to expect anyone to be there on a normal round. So the fact that he's up there probably just made Cello rather angry.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating as hell. Who even looks at that window anymore? Except for when they're saving, obviously. It's like primary save position.
So you can't even really fault Cello for going down right there. There's no way you could have expected it. But I guess that's where the usefulness of the double op comes in, is he can kind of have that little bit of a cheeky play, since Luminosity have been looking for these flanks when Misfits have tried to slow play B. However, that might give away still some good info in the fact that they're probably lining up for some sort of an A execute. So Misfits will have to be careful to not fall into the trap here. They've often been tripped up when they've gone for this slower style of play, but now they have a man advantage on it too, which is going to make their job a little bit easier, even if there are significant trades coming into the site. That will start the hit. Ominek strikes first. PKL strikes back just a second later, however, and now Yell, he'll be trapped. He's one of the only players left in the site trying to hold things off, but he's given zero vision, and they have to assume that there's something back here. He'll be tagged through the wall twice, down low. Showtime is going to try to move back into the flank, and he actually picked up the first kill there, taking down Shazam. Lines up another one here, too. All of a sudden, it's even back out, and that Chicken Coop player is still looking for some impact himself. Yell finding one kill, but no, Sean will shut it down. Gets the final 2 kills and completes the map for Misfits as they win it 16-12.
Sean benefits entirely off the low HP player on Statue. As soon as they get tunnel visioned on that, he's got the AK up close against an op. And I'm not going to lie, Sean's not the greatest at clutches, but comes out when it matters. 16-12, and again, pressure was on. The fact that they were up 14-6 at one point in this match was almost a long forgotten and distant memory. And Luminosity, I think we're expecting this to be a 2-0, if I'm completely honest with you, especially based on how they started off the day and went 30 rounds with CLG, almost made it out of this group as direct, top the group and directly into the playoffs for tomorrow. Suddenly find themselves in the position where they have to reverse the series and go 2-0, having already lost to Misfits. And again, Misfits, I knew this was going to happen with them. They didn't qualify directly to this event, remember. And I know we've talked about this a few times, but if you're just joining us, didn't qualify. French Canadians had the spot. They couldn't get here due to some issues with, I think, the Ronin organization and some different...
It was like one player had a visa issue or something like that. I think that's true. They weren't allowed to get a replacement or something like that.
Well, because you can't. Once you qualify for the minor, you're in the system. Unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles with the Valve rule set. But Misfits then went into a 3-way tiebreaker. The fact that they got to LAN, that's when I knew they would arrive. Because again, Shazam, Sean Gares. So much LAN experience between those two players alone. Six got a little bit as well. Let's not forget when his tenure in TSM. They went over to ECS finals in mid-2016, the first ECS Pro League, Esport Championship League. What do they call their league right now? Their Pro Series.
Esports Championship
Face
Series.
It Pro Series. Yeah, there you go. Esports
Yeah.
Championship Series. And actually, he's played on LAN as well at a time when Automatic was on that team as well. So, I mean, there's experience there. And as soon as they get into an environment by which they were familiar, you knew that they were going to show up.
Sick had a lot of hype on him in general, like towards the end
I
of
thought he was
2016.
the best player on that 2016.
Yeah.
Well, in that LAN finals, because who else was on that team? They had Automatic, Sick, and Twist, I think, who's now on Liquid, obviously.
Yeah. Was Semphis on
Automatic
that team?
was, yes. Yeah, he was. Semphis wasn't really a star player on that team. He was more the experience that they brought with them. But I thought Sick was actually, at that specific event, was the best player on the TSM team. And everyone was kind of hyping up Automatic at the time, and obviously, rightfully so. He's gone to Cloud9 and proved himself. But Sick was kind of forgotten about, and I think he's actually a decent player. And showing again here on this team that he can be, knifing Sean Gares on Nuke today, perhaps not. But, look, 1-0 Misfits. We'll take a break, come back for map 2, and see if they can close the series. I'd be surprised if they take it 2-0, but best foot forward so far.
We'll see.